All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to an individual set to headline BKFC KnuckleMania 3, and that goes down February 17th. It is topping the marquee BKFC light heavyweight title unification is what we're talking about. Definitely one of the bigger fights, if not the biggest fight in the history of the company, as Mike Richman and Lorenzo Hunt knuckle up and toe the line, and good getting to talk to Lorenzo today. How's everything feeling ahead of this one, man? I would think you're quite excited for this.
I don't get excited about fighting, man. It's a fight.
Business as usual, eh?
Yeah, business as usual.
Just wanted to wish you... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the camp's going great. Everybody in my team showed up, showed out. Everybody else is super excited, you know. I'm happy about everything. BKFC is taking care of me. Right now I'm in Puerto Rico with Elvin Brito and Jay Jackson and Isaiah Washington and a few more of my guys that just came out just to, you know, show support and train and spar. And, like, man, we having the time of our lives in Puerto Rico, just doing our job and making it fun.
Yeah, for sure. And I thought it was cool seeing Elvin Brito get to kind of like journey a little bit outside of the bare knuckle space a little bit. Like he had that, you know, boxing bout with Hardcore FC relatively recently. So that's a cool part of BKFC as well. It seems like they allow certain outside opportunities to fighters and whatnot when they have that sort of cachet. Is that something that maybe you could see yourself doing in the future? Like maybe if an outside combat sports opportunity popped up?
Yeah, sure, of course. I mean, I wouldn't mind giving Jake Paul a run for his money, or you know, fighting on a prominent boxing card, making my pro boxing debut someday. But as of right now, I mean, I'm completely focused, 100% focused on BKFC, and I like to say I'm the double world champion. I have so much going on, so many plans with the company moving forward that it doesn't make sense right now to look elsewhere.
Yeah, well said. And I did want to touch on that last fight where you cemented yourself as, you know, 2-division champion, getting the third round stoppage over Quentin Henry at BKFC 30. Like, what were the main takeaways from that one? Because it was kind of a chaotic scene a little bit. It was almost like you had to finish it twice to kind of get it done. But what was one of the big takeaways and, you know, interpretations of that last one? It seemed like a big career moment.
I mean, it wasn't really chaotic for me. Like, things seem crazy or look crazy, but it's just like, you know, you're driving your car on the freeway. Everything's going 100 miles an hour, but inside, you know, you're listening to music and you're just cruising and you're comfortable. I'm comfortable in those wild situations, and that's what makes me a shoe-in for just greatness. When the world goes crazy, I'm calm. And so, I mean, I knew it was only a matter of time before someone tried to cheat me. I mean, I've been being cheated all my life. I've been being challenged in that way all my life. If somebody can't go through you, they'll figure out a way to go around you. And with Quentin Henry pretending to be hurt and the BKFC having to review the tape and decide whether or not to DQ me or to keep the fight going, you know, I just kind of let it all play out. I knew in my heart that I didn't commit the foul, and so I just let it play out. My hard work speaks for itself, you know. I've never cheated. I've never, you know, done anything weird. And the same goes for, you know, with Quentin Henry. His work spoke for itself because he had been in those type of situations before where he tried to bail out mid-fight. The company was hip to his games. It worked out. They made him stand up and take that whooping like he signed up for.
I mean, ended off the year in a big way, though, to the point where you got that 2022 Male Fighter of the Year award. And you don't strike me as a guy that would get, like, too fired up one way or the other about that, but probably like a nice little something to end the year off on, just maybe that recognition, I suppose.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm really used to getting passed over and looked over, so I never really looked for the popular opinion vote and all of those type of things. I mean, I am who I am, and the things that has happened to me in the past have made me strong. I believe I was Fighter of the Year last year when Palomino got the nod, and when I didn't, I just put it out of my mind that I would ever be nominated for Fighter of the Year. So yeah, it was a nice go-to, but I've been Fighter of the Year for 2 years in a row now. I have the best record in BKFC. I have the most fights in BKFC. A lot of these accolades and a lot of the appreciation that I'm getting now, I already kind of turned my back on because I already knew I was the champ. I already knew I was the double world champ. I already knew what my fire and what my heart had brought to the table. And even though, I hadn't been getting the appreciation that I believed I deserved, I just kept on working hard.
Yeah, I mean, that's led you to, the point that you're in now. So probably, a good attribute to have. But I'm curious about this upcoming fight here because I feel like you and Mike Richman have had a level of banter for a decent little bit now. Like, it seems like there's been some bad blood, like some pull-apart brawls and a lot of banter and everything like that. Like, what was the, origin of this feud? Like, where did it all begin from your vantage point?
From my vantage point, I mean, I've never had any problem or any beef or any even acknowledgement of Mike Richman. We weren't even in the same weight class. I've been on a terror throughout the BKFC, and Mike Richman wasn't even on my radar because he fought at 175. His wins came at 175. The only person who fought at 185 was Doolittle. So he mentioned me during an interview, and they posted a post that said, Mike Richman says he'll fight anybody. Yeah, so anyway, yeah. Mike Richman did an interview with Mike and Mitch, and they made a big stink about him wanting to fight and being old to fight and saying he would fight anyone, even Lorenzo Hunt, since everyone's afraid of him. And honestly, I just think the fact that he opened his mouth and created fanfare, the people wanted to see it. And now he has to literally eat his words. I am who I am. I'm the double world champ. I fought hard for the 85 belt. I fought even harder for the 205 belt. Mike Richman should not be in there with me. But he's one of those people, either he's incredibly brave or he's incredibly stupid. Either which way, it doesn't matter because there's a lot of brave people that get hurt, and there's a lot of stupid people that get hurt. So I'm just going to show up and do my job and defend my title.
And obviously there's been some intensity. I mean, from what you're saying, seems to be more coming from his end, but just in terms of his body of work across BKB, Valor BK, and then also BKFC, 5-0, 1-0 contest. What do you think of his, bare knuckle resume? Does he have any strong stylistic attributes from what you've seen?
I would say the strongest thing about Mike Richman is his stubbornness. Mike Richman is a very stubborn, bull-headed fighter, and he doesn't give up. He's not one to give up. So I'm not expecting him to go out here and lay down. I did see his fights before. I'm not impressed. I'm not hard to impress. I'm just not impressed. I don't believe that the level of competition that he fought was even close to my caliber. And by that I mean that no one that he's fought, I would have had a problem with. Marcel Stamps, Doolittle, those guys would have been light work for me. Even Dakota Cocker. Dakota Cocker. There's a reason we never fought. There's a reason these people didn't fight me. They fought him. So I'm not impressed by his record because the people who beat couldn't have held a candle in the ring to me. Now ask me the same thing about Mike Richman. Could he have beat Hector Lombard? Could he have beat Joe Riggs? Could he have beat Quentin Henry? Could he have beat... I don't think so. So, you know what I mean? I just don't think that it compares. It doesn't matter if his record was 10-0. It's like I said, I'm 9-1. I don't believe that it would even be a close comparison.
And it's sort of interesting because I was talking to Mike Richman before his fight with Isaac Doolittle, and he kind of kept reiterating that you're not the light heavyweight champ because you've never made the weight limit, and that he's technically the lineal champ. Like, what do you think about all that? I thought that was curious. He kept mentioning that.
I believe that sometimes people create fallacies in their mind that put them in position to get hurt. Kind of like when you fill out an application for a forklift operator, but you don't have the qualifications, and then they put you in a forklift and then you get hurt. Mike Richman thinks that I've never made the 185 weight limit. He thinks that I'm not the champ because I've never made 185, but I've always made my contracted weights. I don't fight what the fans think I should fight. I don't do what the fans think should be done. I do what's in my contract. So whatever the weight is and whatever the agreed upon weight is between the BKFC and the boxing commission and the person, that's what we fight at. Now, how can you fault me for signing a contract that says you guys fight at such and such weight for the 185 title? That has nothing to do with me. I will not have a problem making 185 as this contract says, and I'll smash Mike Richman's mouth in, and then he'll disappear like the rest of the people who had weird excuses for fighting me, thinking that that would give them an edge. He thinks that I won't make weight and that will give him an edge, and he's going to carry that into this fight, and then he's going to get beat up. It's a very bad idea to make logical leaps so that things will go in your favor in your imagination. You should. It's a lot easier to just be honest. And then he would have probably gone to 75 and fought for the 175. Fought Richie for the 175 title, just like Dave Mundell did. Dave Mundell's a very smart person. There's no way in hell I'm fighting Lorenzo Hunt for the 185 title. I might still go to 175. He's so much smarter than Mike Richman.
And just to the point of like different weight divisions, like one of the last times we were talking, you were saying how it's like an express goal of yours to become the first 3-division champ, like you're eyeballing that heavyweight title eventually. Not overlooking this fight per se, but would that be the next step if you get your ideal outcome here?
It has to be approved. So I would definitely like to be the first 3-seed champ. And I have a responsibility to myself and my family to be the first ever 3-division champ because of the promises that I've made. However, if I have to continually defend the 185, the 205 belt, it's going to have to be a special thing in order to get David Thurman to allow me to fight for the heavyweight title. Right now, Arnold Adams is fighting Belcher, and I believe that that would be an amazing fight for me. Either one of those guys. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm definitely looking past this fight to the next one, because that's what you do when you have a goal. You look past the little goals and you get them. And so I'm looking past Mike Richman, and I'm looking for the heavyweight title of the world. And when I become the first 3-seed champ, then we'll talk about relinquishing lower weight titles. But as of right now, I'm the double world champ, and I'm comfortable defending them.
And it's curious you mentioned that Adams versus Belcher fight, like curious in the sense of, it's in pretty close proximity to your title unification fight. Maybe I'm reading a little too much into that, but I feel like that could lay out a framework whereby if you get your ideal outcome and then the winner of the heavyweight title fight comes out of it, like maybe that could be like a path they map out, like a confluence of those two forces kind of clashing together. So yeah, interesting.
It's a very, very curious thing, and I would love to see who wins the heavyweight title, because I have my eye on it. And I'll be there ringside when it's all said and done. There's no one who deserves it more than me. And if Belcher somehow overcomes Otto Adams, which I don't think he will, and I mean I don't really want him to. I would like to fight the best BKFC heavyweight in the world, and I would personally believe that's Arnold Adams. And I would like to dethrone him and become the first ever 3-division champ. I believe that that's something that will never be done again. People can talk about Palomino being the pound-for-pound champ at 8-0, but he's childlike. His weight is childlike. His stature is childlike. He could never do the things that I've done. He'll never do the things that I'll do. And sitting as a 3C champ and the heavyweight champ, he'll never be even there. There will never be a comparison between me and anyone in the BKFC ever again.
Well, that's interesting if you're looking at Arnold Adams as the person who's going to win the fight and maybe even a potential next opponent, because he's the number 3 ranked pound-for-pound fighter there. So I feel like if you got that kind of win, it would have to vault you to that number 1 spot. Not
because
fixated on that necessarily, but I feel like people couldn't really argue that at that point.
Not at all. I'm not overly fixated on it at all because I personally feel like I'm the best in the world. Palomino can have whatever stature or title that they want to throw out there, but unless me and Palomino could possibly get in the ring, it doesn't matter what he does in the BKFC, he'll never be better than me. And as far as Arnold Adams being just under me in the rankings, when I beat him, someone else, Palomino, would never stand a chance on earth of standing next to in the ring. It goes without saying. You don't have to call me the pound-for-pound champ. I'm the heavyweight champ, the cruiserweight champ, the light heavyweight champ. You don't have to call me the pound-for-pound champ. I'll send the little guy home with something.
Yeah, something I love, though, is, like, I mean, we talked about this last time, but, like, how you came from, like, the tryouts circuit, and, like, you're still oftentimes, like, appearing at these tryouts events to talk to, like, the young, up-and-coming bare-knuckle fighters. Like, is that just, like, you being, like, a grounded kind of person and realizing what that did for you? Like, where does that come from? Because I think that's cool.
I'm just a realist. I'm just a realist. I do not believe that the best fighters in the world are going to come from these spoiled gyms and these spoiled guys and these guys that are on TV and stuff. I believe that the best fighters in the world are going to come from the tryout, the people who are the hungriest, the people that want it the most. It's just like a Rocky movie. I mean, who wants it the most? I'm the new Rocky. So, I mean, just think about it. I've been fighting MMA for a long time, and I've been knocking guys out for a long time, and I was overlooked by some larger promotions just because of reasons, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's always like that, you know, look this or that or blah. You know, even guys that I've beat have gotten the nod over me when it came to MMA. And so now, in this new organization, you know, I didn't have the right connections, or I didn't make the right friends, or I didn't kiss the right ass. And I like that about BKFC because I don't have to kiss ass. All I have to do is win. And so I would like to, I'm scouting when I go to these tryouts. I'm scouting. I'm looking for new talent. I'm looking for someone who moves differently. I'm looking for someone who thinks differently. And when I find them, I'm going to sponsor them and give them a contract and put them in there and help them put these spoiled boys in their place the way I did. And the people are going to boo, and the people are going to hate you, and the people are going to be mad because they have these presets in their mind. They've been conditioned by the marketing of these companies that made you think that these guys were better than they were. But like I said, it's not the rich man who fights hard. It's not the rich man who has the reason to fight hard. You know, it's the poor man. It's the people with less. It's the people with the work ethic. And I'm looking for them so that we can put them on and we can put them in the spotlight. And like I said, I could put these 4 boys in their place.
Well, I mean, that would be a great way to kind of like pay it forward, like at least in the context of like seeing someone who's maybe not getting that opportunity and then thinking of your own journey and then kind of like, aiding their growth thereafter. But one of the things I wanted to touch on too, I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't, bring this up, but just the last fight had a big entrance and everything like that, coming out with the TBS champion of AEW, Jade Cargill. Like, how did that all come together? It seems like you have good ties with like the AEW wrestlers and stuff like that. Like, that seemed like a fun entrance. Can you talk about that a bit?
I mean, I'm the champ. Jay's a friend of mine. He's a friend of the family. Brandon Phillips is a friend. We're all just family, and we're all champions, and we're all champion-minded, so we all support each other. I go to the AEW events, and I show love, and I show up, and I cheer, and I take my kids, and so they come to my events and show love. The people who know me love me. The people who only know what they see on TV, they got mixed emotions about the Juggernaut. But everyone who knows me knows that this Juggernaut is a hero. I'm a hero. I'm not a bad guy. I'm a great guy. And that's why they rock with me.
Yeah, because I saw a video of you at one of the AEW events, too. It looked like you were kind of like chopping it up with Rick Ross a bit, so it seems like you have fun at AEW Dynamite.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I said, those are amazing people, and what they do is amazing. Oh, my God, it's so hard. I couldn't even do it. I don't think that I could do it. You slam me on my back like that, I'm going to start swinging. Like I love this show. My kids love this show. We always go and show love and support. I'm just happy to be a part of everything, and I'm happy to have friends in those type of positions and, other champions with champion mindsets that push themselves beyond any limits, beyond anything that the naysayers have to say. I just surround myself with champions.
Yeah, cool to see for me as a fan of both of those brands there. So maybe not the Paige Van Zandt wrestling match crossover necessarily, but I think we got to at least have you have some sort of appearance on camera, like maybe someone mouths off and you punch them or something like that. I feel like that'd be fun to see, like you on Dynamite at some point.
Yeah, I'm pretty fun. I'd love to do something with those guys. We'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, definitely would be fun, but a lot of big things coming up, KnuckleMania 3 main event and all, and I mean, yeah, it's always great getting to talk to you, Lorenzo. I feel like I could ask you 100 questions, but I don't want to talk your ear off too much. I want to be mindful of your time and schedule, so to that point, is there anything you might want to add, kind of as like a parting thought as we're wrapping up here, man?
Yeah, I just want to say to everybody out there working hard, working towards your dreams, don't sell yourself short. Don't give up. Do not become a slave to someone else's dreams. Push yourself. Work on your talents. Everything is not about money, but everything that you work on until it becomes magical will become money, because people pay for magic. When I do what I do, it's difficult to most people. It looks like magic. And now I make money doing it. So don't ever give up on what you're talented at. Don't ever give up on what you're good at. Fight for it. Fight through it. Take time off of working for someone else's dream and work towards your own. And it will pay off in the long run.
That's an awesome parting thought, man. I appreciate you saying that. And yeah, I mean, I imagine that would inspire a lot of people, but very excited to check out this KnuckleMania 3 fight, a big title unification against Mike Richman in the main event. And just, yeah, always good getting to talk to you, man. You have a good rest of your day, and looking forward to checking out the fight when it goes down as well.
Thanks. I appreciate you. Check it out, man. You already know me, so you know it's going to be crazy. I can promise you that. It's going to be fireworks.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be a big year in all, and yeah, kicking it off in a big way. So yeah, to reiterate, thanks for coming on, man, and you have a good one.
You too. Thanks for having me.